Hi, I'm Sam and Naya, a licensed professional counselor and the founder of Naya Clinics. If you are new to our channel, please consider subscribing. Also, please click the bell button to receive notifications every time we upload new content. In this video, I'm going to suggest to you 2 communication tricks. They are clinically proven and also incredibly counterintuitive, so it's very difficult for most people to actually apply them. Stay tuned to the end of the video though, because at the end I will share with you a 3rd trick that is an equivalent of a secret weapon in human communication. Alrighty, so let's start. So the first trick up our sleeves is called mirroring. So what is mirroring? Have you ever been fighting with somebody and you had them say to you, "Hey, you are not listening to me"? If you're anything like me, I've heard that from a lot of girlfriends back in the day. So then what is mirroring and how does it help with that? Mirroring is basically repeating verbatim everything the person you're having a conversation with just said to you. So let's say I am talking to you about lunch plans and I'm like, "Hey, I'm kind of busy on Thursday. Would you like to go out to lunch on Wednesday instead?" So mirroring in this case would be you saying to me, "Hey, I heard you say that you are busy on Thursday, but that you would rather make plans for Wednesday lunch instead. Is that correct?" So this might sound really annoying and dumb. It's like, you could be looking at me thinking, "Hey, you want me to actually repeat verbatim everything anybody tells me in a conversation? That would take just the entire day." And the point here is, well, yes, that is exactly what I'm suggesting you do. And give me a second to explain why, and you'll hopefully see the logic of it. See, oftentimes when we're having a conversation, inside our own heads, we're kind of 2 steps ahead of the conversation. We're basically waiting for the other person to finish what they're saying so we can get to say our bit. The problem with that is that instead of focusing on what the other person is actually saying and trying to understand it, we are already somewhere else in our head and not really focused with it. When you try mirroring, what you will find that you will need to do is to be 100% focused on what the other person is saying, because there is no way in hell you can repeat somebody else's words verbatim unless you are very, very intently listening. So this is the first benefit of it, is that it keeps you very much focused and engaged on what the person is saying. The second benefit of it has to do with the other person. Now imagine this. Imagine every time you tell me something, I repeat it to you exactly the way you said it. How would you feel? Would you feel like I'm listening intently? Would you feel like I'm hearing you? I will venture to say yes. Because as we were saying in the other point, there is no way I can be repeating to you verbatim what you said unless I'm very, very intently listening to you. And that's exactly the point. When you make somebody feel in that way that you are so incredibly focused on what they're saying, they feel heard. And when they feel heard, they feel safe around you and they want to continue having a conversation with you. So this is why mirroring is so important, and this is the number 1 point that I would like to ask you to try in your communication. So what do you think about mirroring? Does that make any sense to you? Do you feel like that would be helpful? If you feel like mirroring would be helpful to you in your communication, comment below, say yes, and tell me what makes you think it would be helpful. If you think it's BS, comment below as well, and tell me why you think it is BS. Right, so on to the second point. The second point is validating the person you're speaking with. Validating is a very tricky skill to master. And the reason for that is a lot of people confuse validating somebody else's feelings with agreeing with something that they do not agree with. So let me give you an example from my personal life. So one day I'm having a conversation with my wife, and she says, "Hey, Are you like me? Are you scared to stop at a gas station after 2 a.m. to put gas? Because for me, I would never stop at night to put gas. I feel very unsafe. And I was like, no, I feel perfectly safe, fueling up at 2 a.m. But I can see why you would feel this way, because there's a lot of fear for a lot of women to be alone in a dark place at 2 a.m. where there is nobody around. So that is an example of validating without agreeing. Personally, I am not scared to stop at 2 or 3 a.m. at a gas station on my way home to fuel up. But that doesn't mean that my wife needs to feel the same way. All I have to understand here is that she gets scared to do that, and we do not have to agree on it. The challenge with validation, though, is that most people, if somebody feels differently than they do about a particular topic, they get so focused or so interested in making the other person see why they shouldn't feel the way they're feeling. So in the example of the gas station, somebody could be like, hey, you're paranoid, or why would you feel that way? Or like, 9 million times, 9 million people fuel up at 3 a.m. every day and nothing ever happens, and this is a silly fear. No, I mean, if you were to do that with somebody, then what you're basically saying to them is that your feeling is wrong. And here is the thing that most people don't get: feelings cannot be wrong. Nobody can have a wrong feeling. If you're scared, you're scared. It's not a logical argument. It is a feeling. If you're tired, you're tired. If I'm tired, you cannot argue with me that I'm not. I am. So the validation part is more of an art than a science. It is the art of putting yourself in somebody else's shoes momentarily without necessarily agreeing personally that this is how you would feel if you were in their shoes. But how do you feel about validation? Do you feel like this tip would help you if you were to try it with your intimate partner or in your communication in general? If you feel validation could be helpful, please comment below and say yes and give me a few examples from your personal life. If you feel like you've tried this before and it didn't work out, please comment below as well and tell me why it didn't work, and I'll see if I can help you adjust your approach a little bit. Alrighty, now on to the secret weapon. At the beginning of the video, I promised you a third tip that is the equivalent of a secret weapon. And here's why I call it that. It's because this is where most people never really venture. And the reason why it's a secret weapon, in my mind, is that it's actually the easiest of all the tips that I'm giving you today to do, because you can never get it wrong. You can very easily get mirroring wrong. You can try to repeat somebody's words verbatim and not get them verbatim. You can very easily get validation wrong. You can try and not quite get it. But this one I'm just about to suggest to you is the easiest of them all, because you can never get it wrong. And it is empathizing. It is attempting to empathize. So let me try and explain how that works. So this is an attempt on your part to guess. Basically, it's like emotional charades. It is an attempt to guess how your partner or how the person you're having the conversation with could be feeling about the topic they're talking to you about. So let's go back to the topic with my wife and the gas station. So I can try and guess, like, hey, you must feel very scared to be at a dark place at 3 a.m., right? And because it's a guess, if I get it right, then she feels understood and she feels validated, as we were describing before, and she feels safe to continue having a conversation with me. But here's the cool part. So now what happens if I get it wrong? This is what it really gets cool. If I get it wrong, what happens is she corrects me, right? So if I say, hey, you feel scared, I guess you might feel scared about being there. And she says, no, it's because, I don't know, a friend of mine when I was 19 years old was jumped at a gas station. And, ever since then, I, just wanted to be very careful about not putting myself in that position. Or, anything, whatever it may be. I'm just making a scenario up in my mind here. And then basically we have a chance here to continue having the conversation using the same tips that I just gave you, So then this would give me an opportunity to mirror her and say, oh, so the reason why you don't like being at a gas station at 3 a.m. is because when you were younger, one of your friends was jumped there. Am I hearing that correctly? And then she would either say yes, and then we have an opportunity for me to validate her. And in this case, it would be something like, oh, I could see why you would feel this way. If I were in your shoes, if I had a friend who was jumped at a gas station when I was younger, I think I would, develop a particular sensitivity to doing that as well. So that's why I call it a secret weapon. If you get it right, it's an opportunity for the conversation to improve. It's an opportunity for your partner, or whoever you're discussing this with, to feel safe and understood with you. If you get it wrong, it is basically an opportunity for that conversation to continue going on in a way that still reinforces her or him feeling understood, feeling appreciated, feeling heard, feeling validated. So there you go. This is the third one, empathizing. Emotional charades, as I call it, an attempt on your part to guess what the person you're talking with might be feeling in the circumstance that they are describing to you. So how do you feel about empathizing? Do you think that is something that would work for you? If you think this might work for you, please comment yes below and give me an example of when you tried it and it worked. If you feel again like this is BS and that would never work, give me an example below in the comments, and I will try and respond to all the comments that I see and start a conversation with you and maybe give you a few ways that you can improve how you do that. All right, so this is it for today. I hope you find this helpful. If you do, please remember to subscribe to our channel and to give the video a thumbs up. Share it with somebody that you feel might find it helpful. And I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.